In this video, I present to you all the best chess opening. Now, I know other YouTubers out there are pushing their own openings. I know the Carol Khan has become popular and the London, and I understand it. I get it. They're not too theoretical, so they're very attractive to beginners. So these openings have been pushed out by Gotham Chess, and that's great. However, I have my own opening that I play. I still played on over-the-board tournaments. I played on chess.com. And you can check out my games. I'm over 2,200 on chess.com, and it still works. You can play it at the advanced levels, but it's very good for beginners too because it's not too theoretical. Now, I'm going to show you two sharp ways that white can play and one very theoretical line, and I'm going to show you the answers to it. So if they do play that theoretical line, you know the answers to it, but you probably won't see that until over like the 2,000 rating. Anyway, this opening is great, I believe. It's very easy to play for beginners. And at the same time, it gives you an imbalanced position, but a very playable position, very easy to approach position right out of the opening. And there's a lot of ways for your opponent to go wrong. Anyway, without further ado, let's dive in and let's take a look. I think this is the way to go. I try to tell my students to play like this as well. And it's the Sicilian, but not just the Sicilian, but it's with e6. So I don't play the dragon, which is highly theoretical. I try to stay away from that. It's also highly tactical. So even if you're playing well, your opponent could out-tactic you, if that's a word, out-trick you. So here we have a normal game. This actually comes from an over-the-board game I played at the Marshall Chess Club a couple weeks ago. And my opponent was like 1550 or so. So here, anyway, I play knight f6. Now, I immediately attack the pawn and develop. And the good thing about this is white cannot push and attack the knight and bother the knight because he would lose that pawn due to this check on a5. So he has to play knight c3, and then I play knight c6. Now, the knight off a6 is also good. I recommend that as well because it's stopping the knights from coming in here. I think it's or is it the Nimzowicz? Anyway, it stops the knight from coming here. That's a good idea. But I play knight c6. Now, knight c6 is the four knights variation, and it's technically theoretical because white could play knight b5, which you don't really see until the higher levels, maybe like over 2,000. You'll see a move like knight b5, and it's still fine for black. It's just a very sharp opening line that we have to memorize. So white is threatening to come in here, so we just push the pawn. Now he's not allowed to come in there, so then he attacks it again to try to come in there. Then we just block it. Then we have bishop g5. We got to kick out the knight. Now we're threatening to fork the knights. So bishop takes. We don't take with the queen, actually. We take with the pawn here, and then the knight drops in, and we're going to get a position something like this. And now the whole idea is white has these nice knights, but black has some dynamic play, and it's a fine position to play with. It's fun, at least. So that's as much theory as you need to know, really. There's another line where, let's say, white will take here and then push. There's not much theory after that. That's just another sharp way of playing, but you're fine there, too. Anyway, most players will play something like develop their bishop. Now, if they make a move like bishop d3, they actually immediately hang their knight. So there's ways for them to go wrong here. I mean, that's a pretty silly move, but players have done it. My opponent in this game played bishop e3. Looks like a normal move, and it's fine. So I just played a very natural move. I developed my bishop, pinned the knight, and now I'm immediately attacking this pawn. And this already gives white problems. A lot of players do not defend this the right way. Now, bishop d3 is a fine move. That would work, or taking the knight first and then playing bishop d3 also works. My opponent here played f3. And f3 is he's still fine, as you can see by the evaluation bar, but it's a slippery slope, and he's weakening his king side, and he's pushing pawns in the opening. We really want to develop our pieces in the opening. And again, this is an example of, moves in themselves not being really bad, but it starts to become a slippery slope. A combination of these small little errors, you start to get a losing position. Now here I just castled. Again, this opening is very easy to play for black. It's officially called the Four Knights Variation Sicilian Defense. I should have said that in the beginning. That's what it's called. And you get a very normal game. But at the same time, it's not completely balanced like E4, E5, where it's boring and nothing really happens, and your opponents are used to seeing it. So you have a very normal-looking chess game, but at the same time, it's imbalanced. You have a lot of play. There's a good amount of tactics involved, but not too much. It's a really great opening, I think, for beginners, intermediate, and advanced players as well. Okay, so here, this is the issue here. Now, my opponent made a very normal-looking move, bishop c4. But this is this was a significant error. Again, there's a lot of mistakes white can play here in this position that don't look like, they're not obvious that they're mistakes. So that's another reason why I really like this opening, and I really do recommend it. So I wanted to play d5 because I want to play in the center. Again, that's a general principle, and in this opening, a lot of the best moves are aligned with the general principles of chess, which is another positive about it. So I played d5 here. Now, the reason why bishop c4 is so bad, in my opinion, is I wanted to come here anyway, and now I'm coming here with tempo because I'm hitting the bishop. And again, you'll see that black is only slightly better here. But the odds of black playing, the odds of white playing the best moves here are pretty absurd, because the best way to go is bishop e2, and which drops this pawn. The knight can't take. I mean, white could take with that pawn, but we just take again. And now the best way to go is to just castle, where white would lose another pawn here, not to mention we're hitting the queen, and we would get rid of the bishop pair, so white wouldn't even have that advantage for him, and that would not be, great for white. So here my opponent actually took, which is not good, because now the e-file is going to open up, and the king's on the e-file uncastled. So now I open the e-file again with tempo, because the bishop's still there. And again, the bishop should come to e2 to block the king, but he came to b3. It looks natural. Again, it looks natural. It doesn't look like a significant mistake. And now after rook e8, we're already winning. And now he has to hold on by queen d3, but he played king f2, and his idea was to temporarily guard this with his king, move his rook here, and then shoo his king away and manually castle. But now he's absolutely losing, and there's actually a winning move here. Try to pause your videos and find it, or not try to pause your videos and try to find the winning move here. The winning move is simply rook takes e3. Now, I didn't play this in the game. I actually played something else, and because I haven't been in this particular position in a while, and I remembered playing rook e3 in a few of the games, and thinking pretty surely that was the best way to go. But I was playing an over-the-board tournament, and I just kind of played it more, conservatively. But after looking back on it, yes, this is the best move. This wins on the spot, actually. And I won this game maybe 6 or 7 moves later. But this move wins on the spot. Now, the point is, after the king takes, we just throw in a check on e7 with the queen. And the king has a bunch of squares to go to, but none of them are good. So let's see f4. f4, if the king goes there, we have checkmate, so that's not good. If the king comes to d3, we just simply take, and after the king takes back, bishop c5 check, and then we have checkmate. Let's see, where else can the king go? The king can go here, but just drop a knight. That's not good either. So players are going to come back to f2. That looks like the most reasonable move, but again, we just take the knight here, and now we're up material. White cannot take, because if they do, we pin the queen to the king, and that's why you don't play f3, and you don't bring your king out in the middle of the board. And that's why this is also one of the best openings, and in my opinion, the best opening to play. I love it, and it's the Sicilian Four Knights variation. There's a lot of play in there, not too much theory. It's really good, especially for beginners who are learning the game, or are intermediate players that are just brushing up on the game and just getting better, and are looking to ways to beat their opponents out of the opening. Anyway, if you found that helpful, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you guys next time. Get out of here, go play some chess.